Imagine leaving the world you know to build a home in a wild, unexplored territory. You clear the land, raise children, and build a community. And then, in an instant, you simply cease to exist. In 1590, an entire population of 115 men, women, and children vanished from Roanoke Island. They left behind no bodies, no weapons, and no evidence of a struggle. Carved into a wooden post at the edge of the abandoned settlement was a single cryptic word, Croatoan. For over 4 centuries, historians and scientists have treated Roanoke as a forensic puzzle, searching for the logic behind America's oldest unsolved disappearance. The 1587 expedition, led by John White, arrived with a specific purpose: permanent settlement. These were civilian families seeking a fresh start, far removed from the hardened military outposts of the past. History was made here with the birth of Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. Her arrival anchored the colony's future in vulnerable human terms. That future quickly became precarious. Food supplies dwindled within weeks, and the colonists reported the unsettling feeling of being watched by local tribes from the shadows of the forest. John White made a desperate, calculated gamble to save his family. He sailed back to England for a 3-month supply run, leaving the 115 settlers entirely defenseless in the wilderness. White arrived in England just as the Spanish Armada launched its massive naval assault. In response, the English crown seized every available ship. White was physically trapped on the docks, watching his return window slam shut. The promised 3-month lifeline stretched into 3 years of isolation. An ocean away, the settlers were cut off from all support and all communication. White spent those 3 years wondering if his daughter and granddaughter were starving in the woods or being hunted by the figures in the shadows. The colonists were victims of global logistics. This map shows the insurmountable barrier created by the Atlantic, effectively sacrificing 115 souls to a war being fought thousands of miles away. By August 1590, White finally returned to the Roanoke beach. He shouted names and sang English songs into the tree line, but heard only the sound of the waves. Upon entering the fort, he found the houses had been systematically and carefully taken apart, as if the inhabitants had planned their departure. He discovered that heavy chests had been dug up and looted, yet the ground held no blood, no graves, and no skeletal remains. He eventually found the word Croatoan carved into a palisade post, serving as a final message from the vanished community. This carving followed a specific protocol. White had instructed the settlers to carve a cross if they were forced to flee under threat of violence. The cross was missing. White concluded the relocation was peaceful, but a sudden, violent storm snapped his anchor and forced his crew to abandon the search and return to England forever. The lack of forensic evidence at the site suggests the colony's disappearance was an organized and intentional relocation rather than a chaotic massacre. The theory of a hostile massacre lacks a physical footprint. A slaughter of over 100 people would leave biological remains that simply do not exist at the Roanoke site. Integration with the friendly Croatoan tribe offered the most logical path to survival. For abandoned English civilians, merging into a localized society was their only viable lifeline. For centuries, oral histories in North Carolina have described Native American groups with strikingly blue eyes and English customs that predate later colonial contact. By merging with local tribes, the settlers ensured their survival through the total erasure of their English identities. A breakthrough in 2012 shifted the focus of the investigation, centering on a 400-year-old map drawn by John White. Researchers used X-ray technology to look beneath a paper patch on the map, revealing a hidden symbol for a secret fort 50 miles inland. Excavations at those coordinates have since unearthed 16th-century English pottery and tools, confirming a European presence at the secret site. This discovery raises a haunting question. If the settlers established a secure inland base, why did they maintain such total silence from the outside world? The existence of a secret fort
and the decades of silence that followed suggest the colonists made a deliberate choice to disappear into the woods, leaving behind a mystery that was never intended to be solved.